Want to speak real French from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at FrenchPod101.com.
10 lines you need for introducing yourself. Here we go! Comment t'appelles-tu? What's your name? Bonjour, comment t'appelles-tu? Hello, what's your name? Es-tu déjà allé en France? Have you been to France? So yeah, people will be like, es-tu déjà allé en France? And then you can answer, no, it's my first time. So non, c'est ma première fois. Comment vas-tu? How are you? How you doing? Comment vas-tu? When you meet someone in the morning, be like, hey, hi, how you doing? Hey, salut, comment vas-tu? Or, comment ça va? Usually when you're speaking with friends, it's comment ça va. So, hey, comment ça va? Ça va bien. Something like that. Aimes-tu la cuisine française? Do you like French food? Come on, everyone likes French food. It's the bestest in the world. So tell me in the comment if you like French food and what's your favorite French food, because we got plenty of it. My favorite French food is croissant. You can have them for breakfast. They are buttery and yummy and crunchy and everything. C'est quand votre anniversaire? When is your birthday? This one is quite polite, and if you want to use a less formal version, it would be c'est quand ton anniversaire. My birthday is, mon anniversaire est. Dun, dun, dun. D'où venez-vous? Where are you from? I'm from France! So, d'où venez-vous? Where are you from? Well, obviously I'm from France. Where are you from? Où as-tu appris le français? Where did you learn French? On FrenchPod101.com. That's what you are here. So if you are really good and speak French to people pretty easily, they will be like, oh, où as-tu appris le français? Where do you learn French? Tell them you watch Lia's video. Où habitez-vous? Where do you live? Where do you guys live? So yeah, if you are traveling to France, this will also be a question you will commonly be asked. So, où habitez-vous? I live in America. Où sont les toilettes? Where is the bathroom? This is an important sentence to know when you are going to a restaurant or wherever in the metro. Don't go to the toilet in the metro because first you have to pay for it, then it's super dirty. Toilette in French, it's a plural noun because you have to look for many toilets before finding one that's clean. That's what we say in French. So yeah, don't hesitate to ask, but maybe you will be surprised. Où sont les toilettes? Où travaillez-vous? Where do you work? Or, où travailles-tu? For the more casual version. Je travaille en tant que designer. I work as a designer. This is fancy to say, so just go with it. Yeah.
Hi everybody, Candice here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I answer your most common French questions. The question for this lesson is, what are the main differences between written and spoken French? Written French and spoken French can seem completely different. A lot of grammar is relaxed in spoken French, so sometimes you might have trouble recognizing a phrase even if you already know it. For instance, abbreviations are extremely common in spoken French. It goes beyond dropping the E of je in front of vowels such as j'ai, which is I have, or l'année, which is the year. Among the most common spoken abbreviation is t'es for tu es, which means you are. So instead of tu es jolie for you're cute, you hear t'es jolie. Similarly, tu as, you have, is often shortened to ta. Another common omission is the ne in negative sentences. In writing, the correct way to say I have no money is je n'ai pas d'argent. In casual spoken French, you can just say j'ai pas d'argent. Here's another example. Ce n'est pas grave means no problem or it's not a big deal. Spoken, we usually say c'est pas grave. When people talk quickly, it can even sound like c'est pas grave, so you might not even hear the c'est. One more example is je ne peux pas, meaning I can't, can become je peux pas, but we can make it shorter and more casual by dropping the e, je peux pas. Some grammatical structures are more common in spoken French too. For instance, questions are usually shorter and more direct. Instead of saying the full "Qu'est-ce que tu as fait?" for "What did you do?" you probably hear "T'as fait quoi?" which literally translates to "You did what?" Another common spoken sentence structure is adding a pronoun at the beginning for emphasis. For example, if you want to emphasize your personal opinion, you could say "Moi je pense." Literally, that means "me, I think." In English, it's something like "as for me." Here's another example. If you're talking about your family's plans for the weekend, you can add nous for emphasis. Nous allons à la plage. Us, or us for us, we're going to the beach. Hi everybody, Candice here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I answer your most common French questions. The question for this lesson is, are the French really as snobby as they seem? This is a common stereotype, especially in the US, but it's actually more complex than it seems. A lot of Americans and other tourists think the French are stuck up because it seems like they refuse to make small talk, especially in a foreign language. Actually, silence is socially acceptable in French culture and some other European countries, especially among strangers. In American culture, it's common for strangers to make small talk, but in France, it's a little less common, especially in foreign languages. But why? One reason is that being educated is really important in French culture, and people are worried about making grammatical mistakes. Another reason is that many people remain close to a famous idiom, la vieille France, which means the old France. It is commonly used in conversation and is core part of the educational beliefs in France. French people are traditionally not used to talking to strangers and like to keep a distance. It's a part of the culture. Small talk can be seen as an intrusion into someone's private life. A final reason may be that French people are just really busy with their life and prefer listening to music or using their cell phones than talking to strangers. Although this may be the same in many other places, it is particularly prevalent in France. French people may also seem stuck up because of the social faux pas that foreigners make when they visit France. Here are some insider tips for French learners who may visit France in the future. Many tourists who visit France want to see famous sites. However, some may have not done research or really taken in the significance of these historical places. When a French person sees tourists traveling in big groups who stop at a site for 10 minutes, take a few pictures, and then leave, they feel as if the tourists are not really appreciating the culture. Our advice is to do some research on the places you want to visit before you go. That way, you can show your respect not only to French people, but to their culture as well. Here's another thing to be careful of if you have been studying French. Garçon was a famous expression used to call waiters in French. It literally means boy, which is actually quite rude. In the US, there is still the impression that French speakers use the word garçon. If you use this word, the waiter might be really offended and not give you great customer service. Nowadays, French speakers simply get the attention of the staff with excusez-moi, excuse me, or simply s'il vous plaît, meaning please. So please, use that instead when you are at the restaurant in France. So just because the French don't talk as much as foreigners expect them to, that doesn't mean they're rude or stuck up.
How are you? So if anyone is asking you how you're doing or how are you, here are some answers you can give them. Let's start. First one is je vais bien. I'm fine. How are you in French is comment vas-tu? Comment vas-tu? Je vais bien. So how are you? Oh, I'm fine. J'ai sommeil. I'm sleepy. Comment vas-tu? Ah, j'ai sommeil. Sommeil. So how are you today? Ah, I'm sleepy. J'ai trop travaillé hier et maintenant j'ai sommeil. I worked too hard yesterday and now I'm sleepy. Je suis fatiguée. I'm tired. Je n'ai pas beaucoup dormi hier soir et maintenant je suis fatiguée. I didn't sleep well last night and now I'm tired. Twice. Je pète la forme. I'm great. Je pète la forme. This is literally it means I break the shape. Whereas when you are super great and in super strong shape and feeling amazing. Woo! Comment ça va? Ça va super! So how are you doing? I'm great! Or I'm doing awesome! Je me sens mal. I'm feeling bad. So for example, when you ate something bad and then you say, I ate something weird and now I'm feeling bad. J'ai mangé quelque chose de mauvais et maintenant je me sens mal. When you are feeling dizzy, it also works. Ça va pas mal. I'm not bad. It's when you are doing so-so. Like, how are you doing? Ah, ça va pas mal. I mean, I'm not doing well, but I'm not going too bad, so... Meh. Et vous? And you? So if you want to be more casual with someone, you can ask, et toi? And you? So, oh, comment ça va? Ça va bien, et toi? How are you doing? I'm fine, and you? Merci d'avoir demandé. Thank you for asking. So, comment ça va? Ah, ça va pas mal, merci d'avoir demandé. Ah, how are you doing? Ah, it's not bad, thank you for asking. Well, it's a polite way to end the conversation, maybe. Instead of going, ah, how are you doing? Fine, and you? Fine, and you? Fine, and you? Comment allez-vous ces derniers temps? How have you been doing recently? This is also quite formal. You can hear a lot of old people asking this way. So, oh, comment allez-vous ces derniers temps? How have you been recently? Ah! Je suis triste. I'm feeling sad. Mon chat vient de mourir et je me sens triste. My cat just died and I'm feeling sad. And then you get a good pat on the back and you can ask for cake. That would be nice. I like asking for cake when I'm sad. Chocolate ones. I like chocolate.
Hi everybody, Candice here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, when I answer your most common French questions. The question for this lesson is, what is la laïcité? La laïcité, in short, is the separation of state and religion. Another word for it is le sécularisme, or secularism. Every country has its own principles of secularism. In France, it's part of a long historic battle against religious influence on laws and government. The French secular state, or l'État laïque, doesn't promote any one religion or discourage any, as long as the beliefs and practices don't interfere with the state or with other citizens' rights. Because of its commitment to total separation of religion and state though, it means that overt religious activities and symbols are banned in public spheres. That includes public schools, public service offices, and public areas. This distinguishes it from other models of church-state separation, such as in the United States. In the US, the Constitution prohibits religious tests for government offices and the passage of laws that prevent people from exercising religion freely. The US Constitution, however, does not prohibit people, including members of government, from expressing religious sentiment in the public sphere. French laïcité, however, makes a sharp distinction between public and private spheres and attempts to keep religious expression out of the public one. One area where this has caused controversy in recent years is the case of Muslim headscarves. These have been banned in some public contexts, such as schools, though some in the Muslim community consider it obligatory. Critics say that rather than promoting diversity, freedom of thought and opinion, or multiculturalism, la laïcité is interfering with the right to basic religious self-expression. Some go further to argue that laïcité unfairly infringes upon the rights of those who practice minority religions. Public holidays, for example, continue to enshrine traditional Catholic values in public life by following the religion's liturgical calendar. Critics of laïcité come from this traditional Christian perspective as well, arguing that the prohibition of religious sentiment from public life served to deny the positive contribution faith has made to the history and culture of France. So different populations of France are still at odds on what laïcité is all about and whether the current laws are fair or not. Hi everybody, Candice here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, while I answer your most common French questions. The question for this lesson is, what are the different ways you can make a negative sentence in French? Unlike English, negative sentences in French have two parts. The most basic negative sentences use ne and pas and put the verb in between them. For example, I'm going is je vais, so I'm not going is je ne vais pas. You can make more complex negative sentences by using ne with different negative words. Let's go over some examples so you can learn how to make negative sentences in French correctly. Plus on its own usually means more, but together with ne, the phrase becomes no more. For example, je n'y vais plus means I'm not going anymore. There are also negative words in French that can be used on their own or with ne. For example, let's look at this short conversation. Your friend asks you, tu fais du ski en hiver? Do you go skiing in the winter? You can respond, non, je n'y vais jamais. No, I never go. Here, the word jamais, meaning never, is used with ne. Without ne, your response would be non, jamais. No, never. Another negative word, rien, which means nothing, can be used by itself or with ne, like in this example. Your friend asks, qu'est-ce que tu fais aujourd'hui? Meaning, what are you doing today? If you respond with ne, your answer would be, je ne fais rien aujourd'hui. I'm not doing anything today. Without ne, it will be just rien, nothing. One of the most common combinations is ne, pas encore. Encore means again, but in je n'y vais pas encore, it becomes I'm not going yet. You can also use pas encore on its own to say not yet. For example, tu es prête? Are you ready? Pas encore, not yet. Another good expression is pas du tout. That means not at all. For example, someone asks you, es-tu sorti hier soir? Did you go out last night? You can respond, non, pas du tout. No, not at all. Remember, French only uses two negative particles in a sentence. If you use three, the sentence becomes something like the double negative in English. For example, if you said je ne vais pas jamais, meaning I don't never go, then that means you do go sometimes, but it sounds unnatural.
10 compliments you always want to hear. Let's go! Vous êtes un ami génial. You're an awesome friend. Vous êtes un ami génial. You are an awesome friend. Well, if you are a friend, you won't be using the polite language with them, so it's more like tu es un ami génial. You are an awesome friend, but more casual with friends. For example, when your friend just broke up and he's calling you crying and you listen to him a lot and say, tu es un ami génial, merci. You're an awesome friend, thanks. When your friend gives you the birthday present you really wanted and you're like, wow, you're an awesome friend. Tu es un ami génial. You got the best present ever. Vous avez de bon goût. You have good taste. Vous avez de bon goût. Or you can also say shorter form, vous avez bon goût. You have good taste. If someone comes into your home and it's all nicely decorated and fancy, and the guest will be like, oh, vous avez bon goût. You have good taste. Vous avez un grand sens de l'humour. You have a great sense of humor. Vous avez un grand sens de l'humour. You have a great sense of humor. I know, right? Yeah, if you are the joking one at the party and the funny one, the one who will speak and make everyone laugh. And say, oh, vous avez un grand sens de l'humour. Please be tasty with your jokes. Vous êtes magnifique. You look gorgeous. Vous êtes magnifique. You look gorgeous. Well, thank you very much. And you look gorgeous too. Love you, watchers. Beau travail. Good job. Beau travail. Good job. For learning so much French. Good job. If you manage to keep up with all those videos, then you're doing a good job and I'm sure your French is improving every day a tiny bit. Keep it up. Cette veste vous va très bien. That jacket looks nice on you. Cette veste vous va très bien. This jacket looks nice on you. I could have gotten my jacket, but I didn't. Sometime when you're in the street and someone stops you, oh, cette veste vous va très bien. Où l'avez-vous trouvée? Oh, this jacket looks nice on you. Where did you find it? And oh, I just bought it for cheap in a second-hand shop. It's very unique. Vous êtes encore plus beau de l'intérieur que de l'extérieur. Your inside is even more beautiful than your outside. Vous êtes encore plus beau de l'intérieur que de l'extérieur. Your inside is even more beautiful than your outside. Yes. Well, if you're a really kind person and generous and awesome, then you're also beautiful on the inside. So if you're both beautiful on both sides, you're the best. Vous me donnez envie d'être une meilleure personne. You make me want to be a better person. Vous me donnez envie d'être une meilleure personne. You make me want to be a better person. Ah, that's so nice of you. If you can inspire people, then they will tell you that. Vous êtes doué avec les mots. You have a way with words. Vous êtes doué avec les mots. You have a way with words. If you can convince people and if you talk nicely in a very eloquent manner, you have a way with words. Vous êtes très doué avec les mots. You look really nice and blah blah blah. You have a way with words. Vous êtes très doué avec les mots. Votre sourire est magnifique. Your smile is beautiful. Votre sourire est magnifique. Your smile is beautiful. You're beautiful. If you want to hear that, brush your teeth 3 times a day. Yeah, when you make someone laugh and they smile widely and they are happy, then your smile is beautiful. You can say that. Votre sourire est magnifique. Makes them laugh even more.
Want to speak real French from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at FrenchPod101.com.
Imagine you are at a grocery store in France. You want to buy a few things. What do? Bonjour, je suis Candice. Candice here. Anyone can learn how to go grocery shopping in France. In this lesson, you'll learn how. Sasha and Karen are shopping at the supermarket. Let's watch.
Bonjour,
Bonjour.
avez-vous la carte de fidélité du magasin?
Oui, voilà.
Alors cela fera 67,89 € s'il vous plaît. Merci. Voici votre monnaie.
Bonne journée, au revoir.
Merci, vous aussi. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Now with English.
Bonjour,
Bonjour.
avez-vous la carte de fidélité du magasin?
Oui, voilà.
Alors cela fera 67,89 € s'il vous plaît. Merci. Voici votre monnaie.
Bonne journée, au revoir.
Merci, vous aussi. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Here are the keywords from the scene.
Bonjour. Bonjour.
Hello.
Bonjour. 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 Monnaie. Monnaie.
Change.
Monnaie. 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 Euro. Euro.
Euros.
Euro. 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 Centime. Centime.
Cents.
Centime. 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 Merci. Merci.
Thank you.
Merci. 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 Voilà. Voilà.
There you go.
Voilà. Voilà. Voilà.
And now, a breakdown of some of the French you heard in the scene.
In the scene, what does the store clerk ask Karen for?
Avez-vous la carte de fidélité du magasin?
Carte de fidélité. Carte de fidélité.
The word
Carte
means card and
de fidélité.
are literally of loyalty. Supermarkets in France have loyalty cards or rewards cards that give regular customers points or cash back for shopping at that supermarket. At a store in France, you may hear the phrase,
Avez-vous la carte de fidélité du magasin?
the words
Avez-vous
are do you have, and the words
du magasin?
are literally of the store. So altogether
Avez-vous la carte de fidélité du magasin?
is do you have the store's loyalty card? So it's a good phrase to remember when you go shopping in France. Now you try. Say the words for loyalty card.
Carte de fidélité.
What does Karen say as she leaves the grocery store?
Bonne journée, au revoir. Bonne journée. Bonne journée.
The word
Bonne
is good in the feminine form because the word,
journée
which is day, is feminine. When you are leaving a situation, it is polite to say, have a good day, to the people you were speaking to. You can also say,
Passez une bonne journée.
literally, to spend a nice day, to mean the same thing. The word
Passer,
is a conjugated form of the verb,
passer,
to spend, and the word
une,
is the article a for feminine nouns. Now you try. Say Karen's line.
bonne journée, au revoir.
Now the lesson focus. Here's how you can go grocery shopping in France.
Have you ever wanted to shop at a
Supermarché,
supermarket in France? Here are some tips to help you out. In France, there are many big chain supermarkets, with some even offering
service de station-service.
gas station services. Usually, French people go to the supermarket once a week. If you want to use a shopping cart, you can find them in the parking lot rather than at the front of the store. You have to use €1 to rent one out, which you will get back at the end of your shopping trip. Also, cashiers do not weigh your vegetables and fruit for you. You have to do it yourself. You place the fruit and vegetables on a scale, and a barcode sticker comes out of the machine. Then, you place the sticker on the bag and take it to the cash register. It is also a good idea to bring your own shopping bags. Usually, supermarkets charge for plastic shopping bags, and you have to bag your groceries by yourself. If you are looking to get a discount, getting a
Carte de fidélité.
supermarket loyalty card is a great idea. You can rack up points and get deals on certain items. Some supermarkets even have
Catalogue de cadeaux.
gift catalogs. These have gifts that correspond to how many points you have. Once you have accumulated enough points, you can pick out a gift from the catalog. If you are looking for something more unique, you can try one of France's many
Magasins spécialisés.
specialty shops. Specialty shops come in all kinds, from cheese shops to tobacco shops to organic food stores. Of course, you can get many things from regular supermarkets. However, if you are looking for a wider variety or for something really unique, these are the places to go. When you are finished shopping and leaving the store, don't forget to say,
Bonne journée.
"Have a good day" to the person who helped you. This is very polite and shows respect to the shop staff.
Now, it's time to practice your new ability.
You are at a grocery store in France and would like to check out. Ready? Here we go. You need to get a grocery cart to start your shopping. What will you need in French? 1. A grocery store loyalty card. 2. €1. 3. Nothing.
€1.
You want to buy some French cheese. Where is the best place to go? 1. A big supermarket. 2. A specialty shop. 3. A cheese farm.
Magasin spécialisé.
How do you say "have a good day" to the shop clerk before you leave the store?
Bonne journée.
Great job.
€1. Magasin spécialisé. Bonne journée.
Imagine you're at home and want to order delivery in French. What do you do? Bonjour, je suis Candice. Candice here. Anyone can learn how to order food over the phone. In this lesson, you'll learn how. Marc, Marcel, and Sacha are watching a soccer game. They decide to order pizza over the phone. Let's watch.
Allô, ici Super Pizza, j'écoute.
Bonsoir, j'aimerais commander une pizza jambon fromage, une pizza aux légumes et une pizza à 4 fromages, s'il vous plaît.
Et avec ceci.
Une bouteille de coca, s'il vous plaît.
D'accord.
Vous pouvez livrer la commande au 111 rue de France, s'il vous plaît?
Très bien, votre commande vous sera livrée dans une demi-heure.
Merci.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Now with English.
Allô, ici Super Pizza, j'écoute.
Bonsoir, j'aimerais commander une pizza jambon fromage, une pizza aux légumes et une pizza à 4 fromages, s'il vous plaît.
Et avec ceci.
Une bouteille de coca, s'il vous plaît.
D'accord.
Vous pouvez livrer la commande au 111 rue de France, s'il vous plaît?
Très bien, votre commande vous sera livrée dans une demi-heure.
Merci.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Here are the keywords from the scene.
Commander.
Commander.
To order.
Commander. Commander. Commander.
Demi-heure.
Demi-heure.
Half an hour.
Demi-heure. Demi-heure. Demi-heure.
Rue.
Rue.
Street.
Rue. Rue. Rue.
Livrer.
Livrer.
Deliver.
Livrer. Livrer. Livrer.
Pizza.
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 Pizza. Pizza. Pizza.
Coca.
Coca.
Coke.
Coca. Coca. Coca.
And now, a breakdown of some of the French you heard in the scene.
How does Mark ask the restaurant worker to deliver the pizza to his address?
Vous pouvez livrer la commande au 111 rue de France, s'il vous plaît?
Vous pouvez livrer la commande au 111 rue de France, s'il vous plaît. Vous pouvez livrer la commande au 111 rue de France, s'il vous plaît?
Can you deliver the order to, please? You can use this phrase when you would like a delivery ordered to your house or another location. The word
Vous
is the pronoun you, and the word
pouvez.
is can. Together in English, the words are reversed to make the question, can you? The verb
Livrer.
to deliver is followed by
La commande.
the order. The next word is
Au.
to, which indicates where you want the order to be sent. After you say this phrase, say the address, followed by
S'il vous plaît.
please to be polite. Now you try. Say Mark's line.
D'accord. Vous pouvez livrer la commande au 111 rue de France, s'il vous plaît?
How does Mark place his order?
Bonsoir, j'aimerais commander une pizza jambon fromage, une pizza aux légumes et une pizza à 4 fromages, s'il vous plaît.
Bonsoir. J'aimerais commander une pizza jambon fromage, une pizza aux légumes et une pizza 4 fromages, s'il vous plaît. Bonsoir, j'aimerais commander une pizza jambon fromage, une pizza aux légumes et une pizza 4 fromages, s'il vous plaît.
The word
Bonsoir,
is good evening, followed by the words
je
I
voudrais
would like and
commander
to order. After that, add what you would like to order. Then end with
s'il vous plaît.
please politely. For example, if you would like to order a large cheese pizza, you would say
Bonsoir, je voudrais commander une grande pizza au fromage, s'il vous plaît.
good evening, I would like to order a large cheese pizza, please. The word
Une
is a for feminine nouns, and the words
grande pizza,
are large pizza. The word for large is feminine here because the word for pizza in French is feminine. This is followed by
au fromage.
literally of cheese. Now you try. Say Mark's line.
Allô, ici Super Pizza, j'écoute.
Bonsoir, j'aimerais commander une pizza jambon fromage, une pizza aux légumes et une pizza à 4 fromages, s'il vous plaît.
Now, the listen focus. Here's how to order delivery over the phone in French.
It is very easy to find delivery in France. Many people get flyers in their mailboxes. However, doing a simple online search will give you tons of options. Just type
Livraison de nourriture,
food delivery into your computer and hit search. Some websites will ask for your address and what kind of food you would like to order. Then they tell you what's available in your area. In France, even supermarkets do delivery. You can order everything online and they'll drop it off at your house. If you are calling a delivery place and have decided what you want, you can use the phrase
j'aimerais commander, s'il vous plaît.
Simply put what you want to order after the word.
commander.
After you place the order, you need to tell the staff where to deliver. In France, you give your address by using the phrase.
Vous pouvez livrer la commande au, s'il vous plaît?
Simply put your address after the word.
Au.
Usually, zip codes are used only in big cities like Paris. So if you are somewhere more local, you only have to give the house or building number and the street name. A good thing to know once your food arrives is it is actually okay not to tip in France. It is not considered rude. Some people round the total up to the nearest euro, but not everyone. So don't worry if you are strapped for cash.
Now, it's time to practice your new ability.
You're going to make a call for delivery. Ready? Here we go. What do you search for online to find restaurants that deliver?
Livraison de nourriture.
How would you say, I would like to order, please?
Bonsoir, je voudrais commander, s'il vous plaît.
How do you say, please deliver to, in French?
Vous pouvez livrer la commande au, s'il vous plaît?
In what order do you give your address in French?
Numéro de la maison, l'appartement. Nom de la rue. Arrondissement.
Great job.
Livraison de nourriture. Bonsoir, je voudrais commander, s'il vous plaît. Vous pouvez livrer la commande au, s'il vous plaît? Numéro de la maison, l'appartement. Nom de la rue. Arrondissement.
Imagine you're at a restaurant in France. What do you do? Bonjour, je suis Candice. Candice here. Anyone can learn how to order food at a restaurant. In this lesson, you'll learn how. Mark, Karen, Marcel and his wife are at a restaurant in France. Let's watch.
Vous avez choisi?
Je vais prendre un steak frit.
Moi, une ratatouille.
Moi, le poisson du jour.
Pour moi, juste une salade, s'il vous plaît.
Et comme boisson?
Une bouteille de vin blanc, s'il vous plaît.
Ce sera tout?
Oui, merci.
Now with English.
Vous avez choisi?
Je vais prendre un steak frit.
Moi, une ratatouille.
Moi, le poisson du jour.
Pour moi, juste une salade, s'il vous plaît.
Et comme boisson?
Une bouteille de vin blanc, s'il vous plaît.
Ce sera tout?
Oui, merci.
Here are the key words from the scene.
Ratatouille. Ratatouille.
Ratatouille.
Ratatouille. Ratatouille. Ratatouille. Poisson. Poisson.
Fish.
Poisson. 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 Steak frites. Steak frites.
Steak and fries.
Steak frites. Steak frites. Steak frites. Salade. Salade.
Salad.
Salade. 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 Vin blanc. Vin blanc.
White wine.
Vin blanc. Vin blanc. Vin blanc. Boisson. Boisson.
Drink.
Boisson. Boisson. boisson.
And now, a breakdown of some of the French you heard in the scene.
In the scene, how does Marcel ask for his order?
Je vais prendre un steak frites.
Je vais prendre. Je vais prendre.
I will take. The word
Je
is the pronoun I, and the word
vais
is the conjugated form of the verb
aller.
to go. In this case, it is in the future, so it means will. The last word is
Prendre.
take. This phrase is not only used in restaurants, but in bakeries, butcher shops, anywhere food is sold. To be polite, make sure to add
S'il vous plaît.
please at the end. If you want to ask for today's special at a restaurant, you can say,
Je vais prendre le plat du jour, s'il vous plaît.
I will take today's special, please. Now you try. Say Marcel's line.
Vous avez choisi?
Je vais prendre un steak frites.
How did the waiter ask if the group had finished ordering?
Ce sera tout?
Ce sera tout? Ce sera tout?
Will that be all? The word
Ce
is literally this, and the word
sera
is the conjugated form of the verb
être.
to be. In the future, it becomes will. And finally, the word
tout
is all or everything. This is a polite expression normally used by waiters to ask if their customer's order is complete. Now you try. Say the waiter's line.
Une bouteille de vin blanc, s'il vous plaît.
Ce sera tout?
Now, the listen focus. Here's how to order food at a restaurant in France.
Some places are really popular, especially in the big cities. That's why it's a good idea to make a reservation. If you get on the waiting list, there is a chance someone might cancel and you can get in at the last minute. Reservations are usually made over the phone. Just tell their staff what day, time, and how many people will be in your party. If you feel a little uncomfortable speaking French, you can ask,
Parlez-vous anglais?
do you speak English? Most places have staff that speak a little bit. If you are still worried, many places take reservations online or even by fax. Here is how to order food at a restaurant in France. The most important thing to remember is to be polite. It's a good idea to say,
Bonjour, s'il vous plaît, and je vous remercie.
hello, please, and thank you. When you are deciding what to order and want to know what the daily special is, you can say,
Quel est le plat du jour?
what is today's special? Or if you want the waiter or waitress's recommendation, you can ask,
Que recommandez-vous?
what do you recommend? Most places have plenty of options for vegetarians and vegans too, so don't worry if you have certain dietary restrictions. If everything looks great and you still don't know what to order, you can say,
Je n'ai pas encore choisi.
I haven't decided yet. And they'll give you a few more minutes. When you have finally decided, you can use the phrase,
Je vais prendre, s'il vous plaît.
I will take, and add what you would like to order before the words.
S'il vous plaît.
After giving your order, your waiter might ask you,
Ce sera tout?
will that be all? So make sure to listen for it. Usually, French waiters and waitresses are really polite and will not interrupt you when you're having dinner. Therefore, if you're ready to get the check, you have to get their attention. Simply say,
Excusez-moi, l'addition, s'il vous plaît.
excuse me, the bill please. Most restaurants in France have a service charge, but the good news is, tipping is more of a courtesy. It is not required and it's not considered rude if you don't tip. If you really liked the service and would like to give the waiter or waitress something, The average is 5 or 10% of the bill.
Now, it's time to practice your new ability.
You're at a restaurant in France. Ready? Here we go. How do you ask what the daily special is in French?
Quel est le plat du jour?
How do you ask for the waiter or waitress's recommendation?
Que recommandez-vous?
How will you tell the waiter or waitress what you want to order at a restaurant in France?
Je vais prendre.
How do you get the waiter or waitress's attention when you're ready for the bill?
Excusez-moi, l'addition s'il vous plaît.
Great job.
Quel est le plat du jour? Que recommandez-vous? Je vais prendre. Excusez-moi, l'addition s'il vous plaît.
Hey guys, it's Pierre from France and welcome back for more videos on French learning. Today's video will be about casual French. Like maybe you've noticed that, but French people, when they speak as a casual way, the way they speak is really different from the way you've learned French at school. So here I'm going to explain what are the three main rules that are used in casual French. So first, this is the elision of the negation. This is really common and more French people are doing that even in non-casual situation. This is, you get rid of the ne and the n. So for example, here, je ne sais pas, like I don't know. So you've learned that when you add the negation, you have to add ne and then the negation like pas. But in practice, we get rid of it. So here you say je sais pas. This is casual. Like if you want to stay polite, remain more polite, it's better to say that. But je sais pas, like I use that with my parents, with my family, with my friends. So this is really common. And same when you have the N, which is the same word, just because here there is a vowel, you get rid of the I. So il n'y a personne. So again, like here, this is the negation, and you've got the N, like the couple negative word and N. Il n'y a personne. So here, nothing. Il y a personne. Just this negation. The meaning is nobody's here. Nobody's here. Il y a personne. Il n'y a personne. Il y a personne. So this is really easy. Like you just get rid of that. No specific rule. Like really easy. And I think this is really easy to get used to it. So this was the first one. The second one is the non-inversion. When you ask a question in French, you have to do the inversion, and it's quite similar in English. But usually in casual situations, you don't do the inversions. So when you say es-tu arrivé, like did you arrive, es-tu arrivé, you just say tu es arrivé. So here, like if it was not a question, tu es arrivé. So like to make the distinction between like an affirmative sentence and a question, this is the tonality and the context that will help you to understand if it's a question or not. Tu es arrivé? Tu es arrivé? Tu es arrivé. Like this is quite subtle, especially here because there is no context, but usually it's not that hard to understand the difference. Tu es arrivé? Usually you go up at the end of the sentence. Tu es arrivé? Tu es arrivé? And yeah, you can guess with the context. So here you have that. But sometimes, there is interrogative words like comment, like in English, how. How do you make it? Comment fais-tu? Here, there is two ways to become more casual. Comment tu fais? So here again, you don't do the inversion. But there is one other possibility, which is putting this at the end of the sentence. And of course, you don't do the inversion. So, tu fais comment? comment fais-tu, comment tu fais comment. So here you see that you can like make the order that you want for all these sentences, for this, like those three sentences, exactly the same meaning. Like those two one are, like there is no subtlety of meaning between those two. Here it's more polite, but here it's like really equivalent. So you can choose what you want, and it's not only applicable, like you can also use that with other interrogative nouns, and you can also do that with other interrogative words like combien, how much, or how old, like quel âge. But there is one exception that you need to keep in mind, is que. So when you ask a question, you say que fais-tu, which is quite polite. What are you doing? What are you doing? Que fais-tu? In polite situation. You cannot use the non-inversion. You cannot say que tu fais. No meaning in that. It's totally wrong. So what you can do is putting that at the end of the sentence. But if you do that, you don't use que, but you use quoi. Tu fais quoi? What are you doing? Tu fais quoi? So just remember that, like que and quoi, it's quite different. Like there is this little trick that you have to keep in mind. But basically, you don't do the inversion when you ask a question, and I think you can do that in English as well. So this is quite similar. So those two rules, elision of the negation and non-inversion, are quite easy to understand, and like you will easily get used to it. But the last one is a bit more complicated because there are some rules. This is contractions. You know, like you can do some contractions in French, but in casual situations you can do even more contractions. So here there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rules that I'm going to show you, and with this you will be able to do casual contractions in French. So first, je. You know that when there is je and then a vowel, you have to do a contraction. But in casual situations, you can also do a contraction with a consonant. So in casual situations, with je, you always do a contraction. Je plus a consonant become j. So for example, je bois du vin, it means like I drink wine. I'm drinking wine. Je bois du vin. Je bois. Je bois. Je bois. Je bois. Je bois. So this is really casual. If you want to remain, like, if you want to be polite, it's better to say that. But with your friends, je bois will be way more natural. Here again, there is M, which is a consonant. Je m'appelle Pierre. Je m'appelle Pierre. Je m'appelle. So here you can see that there is two contractions, but it's not, as it is a common contraction, you don't pay attention to that. It's like the M, which is important. So you say just je m'appelle. So here it's really easy, and like it's better to say je m'appelle with your friends than je m'appelle Pierre. But once again, if you say that, like if you don't do the contractions, or even if you don't do those two rules, like the elision of the non-inversion, it's definitely okay. It's just like if you really want to sound like a typical young French, it's better to know those rules. But like, who cares if you can speak like a young French? Like in a language, what is important is to be understood. So I'm just introducing you those rules, like that you will be able to understand them. So this is with je, but there is one additional rule with je. It's when there is an S. So S is a consonant. So you can do either that, just that, or changing this sound into sh. So here, you remember that? Je ne sais pas, je sais pas. So here we are going to use the elision and also the contraction. So you can say je sais pas if you apply this rule. Je sais pas, je sais pas, je sais pas. But it's quite hard to say je sais pas. Maybe you have difficulties to say it. So usually French people also say je sais pas, je sais pas, je suis pas, je sais pas. I don't know if you can hear the difference, but it's way easier for the mouth and the tongue to say je sais pas instead of je sais pas. But you can say both. But personally, I use this one a lot. Je sais pas. So here is another example. Je suis perdu. I mean, like something like I'm lost. Je suis perdu. Je suis perdu. Je suis perdu. Or, je suis perdu. Je suis perdu. Je suis perdu. Can you hear the difference? It's quite subtle. But anyway, this, if you have difficulties to say that, just use the sound CH. And let's move on to the next one, which is with tu. So you know tu, there is no contraction usually with tu. So here, in casual French, you can add one contraction when there is a vowel. Like you cannot do the contraction when there is a consonant, but when there is a vowel, you can do the contraction. So here, for example, tu as faim? It's a question, and you can notice like I'm doing again the non-inversion here. Tu as faim? T'as faim. Tu as faim? T'as faim. This is shorter, and we use this a lot. So here, there is a vowel, so we can do the contraction. But here, tu manges. You cannot do any contraction here. You have to say tu manges, even in casual situation. Tu manges. And let's move on to the next one, which is il. Here again, this is only with consonants. So there is nothing you can do, no contraction you can do usually with il. It's like tu. But here with consonant and consonant only, not vowel this time, you can do a kind of contraction which is turning il into i, like with a y, but you say i. So when you say il mange quoi? Question. Again, like you can see that I'm using this pattern. What are you doing? Tu fais quoi? Il mange quoi? So I'm using this pattern. Il mange quoi? 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 But here, if there is a vowel, il était malade, you cannot do any contraction. You have to say il était malade. Il était malade. You cannot just use i. So il mange quoi? Il mange quoi? And there is one exception, like which is not really a kind of exception, but it's not like a contraction, but it's an elision of il. It's when you hear il y a. For example, il y a 2 ans, 2 years ago, il y a 2 ans. Instead of doing il y a, you just say ya. Like you get rid of this and you add this to this letter and you say ya. Ya. Il y a 2 ans, il y a 2 ans, 2 years ago. Il y a 2 ans, formal situation. Casual situation, il y a 2 ans, 2 years ago. So we've seen je, tu, il, like personal pronoun, but here is another form of, like the equivalent of je is me, the equivalent of tu is te, and the equivalent of il is se. So here, with that, there is also a contraction that you can do when there is, again, a consonant. Because usually, when there is a vowel, you do the contraction. But here, in casual French, you can do also the contraction with the consonant. So here, like the same rule is applied. Je me fais à manger. Je me fais à manger. Like I'm cooking for myself. I'm cooking myself. Je me fais à manger. I'm cooking for myself. So you can say je me fais, je me fais, je me fais. Je me fais, je me fais. But you see that there is also here je and a consonant. So you can also do je me fais. But you cannot do both because it's really hard. You cannot say the two contractions in the same time. The idea of a contraction is to speak easier, like to have an easy way to speak and a faster way to speak. But here it's really hard to say if you try to do the two contractions. So we don't do that. We never do that. So here you have to choose between one of the two, and it's exactly the same meaning. There is no nuance in the meaning. So je me fais, je me fais, je me fais, je me fais, je me fais. Formal situation, je me fais, and then you can choose in casual situation, je me fais or je me fais. I don't know if you can hear the difference, but again, as long as you can understand when someone say je me fais, like you don't care which kind of contraction he used. What is important is you understand the meaning of the sentence. So here again with te, tu te promènes, tu te promènes, tu te promènes, tu te promènes, tu te promènes. Like, I think it's quite hard to hear my T sometimes. Tu te promènes, tu te promènes. So this is a way to contract the te. Tu te promènes, tu te promènes, tu te promènes, tu te promènes. So again, consonant here, P, you can do the contraction. And here, il se couche tôt, 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 il se couche tôt. Like he is going to bed early. Il se couche tôt. And here, you can also use this rule, because here there is il plus a consonant. Il se couche tôt. And here you can apply both rules. You can do this one and this one. Unlike in this situation, you can do with il, you can transform the il into i. So it means like you have to say il se couche tôt, il se couche tôt, il se couche tôt, il se couche tôt, il se couche tôt. Il se couche tôt, formal situation. Il se couche tôt, casual situation. And il se couche tôt, even more casual. Like it's like the same casualty, like the same casualness. Il se couche tôt, il se couche tôt. So don't focus too much on the difference. There is no real difference between those two. So here you can, like, just keep in mind that you can do the contraction with that, and here you cannot. Like the two contractions you cannot, and here you can do the two contractions. The reason is it's really easy to say when you do the two contractions here, and it's not easy to say when you do the two contractions here. So if you want a real reason for what we can do two contractions here and not two here, it's because it's easy to say in French. Il se couche tôt, really easy, no difficulties. And let's move on to another one, which is again with e, which is, but this time is le and de. And again, when there is a consonant, you can say l or de. Usually you have to do that again when there is a vowel, but here you can also, in casual situations, again, you can do with a consonant. So, when you say j'ai pas le temps, j'ai pas le temps, j'ai pas le temps, this is like the formal form. You can say j'ai pas le temps, j'ai pas le temps, j'ai pas le temps, j'ai pas le temps, okay, like formal situation, j'ai pas le temps. And in a casual situation, j'ai pas le temps, j'ai pas le temps, j'ai pas le temps. So here it's with le, but here is an example with de. Le train va de Paris à Marseille. Le train va de Paris à Marseille. Like the train goes from Paris to Marseille, which is a city in the south of France. And here, I forgot to translate that, but j'ai pas le temps, like I don't have time. Quite easy. I don't have time. J'ai pas le temps, pas le temps. So here, le train va de Paris à Marseille. 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 Usually, like sometimes it's quite difficult to say deep those two sounds. So sometimes the D turns into a kind of T. Le train va de Paris à Marseille. Le train va de Paris à Marseille. Le train va de Paris à Marseille. This is not exactly a D, not exactly a T. It's like a kind of in between, but don't focus too much on that. As long as you can understand again, this is quite fine. Le train va de Paris à Marseille. This one, like, I think, le train va de Paris à Marseille, I would use both. Like, even in casual situations, I think I might also say de Paris à Marseille. But I guess it depends on the feeling. Le train va de Paris à Marseille. Le train va de Paris à Marseille. So, again, le de, with only consonant. Because usually you can do the contraction when there is a vowel. No need to be in a casual situation. And the last one is like a kind of, some sort of general rule of what we've seen. Because here, if you've noticed that there is e, here again, like e in English, but e is the French way to say e in English, in French. So here, you can do a contraction when there is a consonant, but in fact, you can do a contraction with e, like you can always do a contraction with e when there is a consonant just after e. So it's also something that is true in the middle of words. So here, when I say petit cheval, like a small horse, petit cheval, small horse, you can say petit cheval, petit cheval. Here, I get rid of the E here, and here again, because there is a vowel, there is a consonant here, the T and the V, so I can say petit cheval, petit cheval, petit cheval. It's not like, you can say just one if you want, or the two, or even none of them, but like it's quite common to say that, petit cheval. And here I'm just going to do the contraction for cheval, petit cheval, petit cheval. So here I just get rid of the E in cheval, petit cheval, petit cheval. So petit cheval, full sentence, petit cheval, and then petit cheval. So here I just did one contraction, and I'm going to do the two contractions, petit cheval, petit cheval. And here is another one which is really common in French, even in non-casual situation. This is the verb acheter. Acheter, to buy in English. You have, because here there is an E and there is T, you can say acheter, acheter. But there is one subtlety. You know that sometimes when you use the conjugations of this verb, you can add the accent. For example, when you say j'achète, here there is an accent. So here, like this rule, you can only use it when there is no accent. Here there is an accent, so you cannot, like I don't know how you would manage to do it, because it's really hard. You cannot do the contraction here. But if there is no accent in the middle of the word, you can do this contraction. So this with the verb acheter, you can do the contraction sometimes when there is no accent. Acheter, acheter du pain, to buy some bread. Acheter du pain, acheter. Acheter, acheter. No contraction, acheter. With the contraction, acheter. So here we've seen that this is kind of generalization of those rules. So far we've seen that we can do the elision of the negation. Ne, you get rid of it. You can also get rid of the mandatory inversion in questions. Es-tu arrivé? Tu es arrivé. With some exceptions that you have to keep in mind with que. And also contractions, which are really important in casual French, with all those rules. Je, tu, il, me, te, ce, le, de, and e in middle of words. So now you know how to use that, but maybe you don't know when to use that. Like the distinction between casual and formal is not quite true. Like in many situations at shops and stuff like that, you will do sometimes the contractions. But what you have to keep in mind as a French learner is the less contractions and the less casual French you use, the clearer you are. So like sometimes when a friend don't understand what I'm saying, when I will repeat the sentence, even if it's a French person, I will get rid of all those rules. I will say the full sentences because it's clearer to speak with that. So if you're not confident with the French pronunciation, I think it's better not to use that. So why learning that? I think it's also important to learn that because when you speak to someone like a French person, he can sometimes speak with that. Like this person can sometimes use casual French. So it's good to know that to be able to understand what he is saying. But for you, what is important is to be understood. So just use like full sentences instead of using contractions and stuff like that if you're not confident enough.